This is going to be take 2 on this video. You probably got a notification for it a while ago, but the processing didn't go right. My screencast did not catch all of it. We're going to do some bibble babble and unravel the mystery of the fiery serpent upon the pole. Let's look at a few of these verses in many different translations, because it really doesn't matter. It's like the alchemy. If you look just at the metaphorical iconography, it's going to define itself no matter how they try to interpret it. Watch. New International Version. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a snake, put it on a pole. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live." New Living Translation. Then the Lord told him, "Make a replica of a poisonous snake and attach it to a pole. All who are bitten will live if they simply look at it." English. Wow. Okay. English Standard Version. And the Lord said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent, set it on a pole. Everyone who is bitten, when he sees it, shall live." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent, set it on a standard. And it shall come about that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, he will live." King James Bible. And the Lord said unto Moses, "Make thee a fiery serpent, and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when he look upon it, shall live." Holman Christian Standard. And the Lord said to Moses, make a snake image, and mount it on a pole. When anyone who is bitten looks at it, he will recover. International Version. Then the Lord instructed Moses, "Make a poisonous serpent out of brass, and fasten it to a pole. Anyone who has been bitten and who looks at it will live." So we got a lot of clues going on here that are alchemical terms. Over here, so the people came to Moses, "We have sinned, because we have spoken against the Lord, and you intercede with the Lord, that he may remove the serpents from us." And he interceded for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Make thee a fiery serpent, set it upon a standard, and it shall come about that everyone who is bitten, he shall look at it, and he will live." And Moses made a bronze serpent, set it on the standard, and it came about that if a serpent bit any man, when he looked to the bronze serpent, he lived. I'm fixing to translate this for you. Just as Moses, this is in the New Testament now, just as Moses lifted up the snake in the wilderness, so the Son of Man must be lifted up. These go together. And he removed the high places, and broke down the sacred pillars, and cut down the Asherah. He also broke in pieces the bronze serpent that Moses had made. For until those days the sons of Israel burned incense to it, and it was called Neheshtan. All right, we're fixing to find out who this is. Let's go over here. Make sure we got our screencast up. So, the flocks over here in Egypt, Moses is taking them out. They've sinned against the Lord. They've been bitten by these serpents. What did I tell you serpents were? It's wisdom. It's a knowledge. They have this knowledge that they came with out of Egypt, but they've got to serve this new God over here. So they have to look up at this serpent on a pole. They're leaving fixed earth, and they're coming into cardinal fire. So here's our fire right here. And this is on the cardinal cross. So this is a pole on fire. Let's go to the other end of that pole and find the serpent. and identify that serpent. On the other end of the cardinal cross is that serpent, the wisdom of the heavens, ruled by Venus. In the position after the fall equinox, this was removed. You heard me tell you that they destroyed the bronze serpent. Venus's metal is copper. You have to have copper to make bronze. That's what they did. This is a copper snake, a bronze serpent. She's the wisdom of the heavens. She's Lucifer in this position. She's Isis in fixed earth. They were the same God, except for that was her on earth, and this is her in heaven. It's also the fallen angels. This is the Persian or the Arabic version, where you see they removed the bronze serpent. It was in the claws of a great eagle. These were the eagle's claws. And it's just been changed so many times, but this is the hidden wisdom of the heavens. So we've identified our fire, we've identified our pole, we've identified our serpent, and we've identified it as bronze. So I think clearly the message back over here. So the people came to Moses and said, "We have sinned because we have spoken against the Lord, and you intercede with the Lord that he may remove the knowledge from us," that doctrine, that wisdom that offended. Moses interceded for the people. Then Moses said, "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a standard, and it will come about that everyone who has been bitten of this knowledge," it's like the knowledge of the church, right? When he looks at it, he will live. When those who have been bitten by doctrine, the knowledge of false doctrine, look to the wisdom of the heavens, they are healed. And Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on the standard. And it came about that if a serpent bit any man, any false doctrine, when he looked to the bronze serpent, to the wisdom of the heavens, he lived. He looked up and he lived. Why is the snake in the wilderness? Because after the fall equinox, you fall into the wilderness of Zen. This is the wilderness of Zen. Everything right up to where the sun dies here. The sun goes through the wilderness, he dies, and he's born again from the fire, the phoenix philosopher, into cardinal earth. And it's just the stories of the heavens. While we're here today, this is the time. Let's go ahead and put it up. November the 20th, 2017, 7:33 a.m. in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Lost Vedas, that other wisdom of the heavens. Maybe after we get all these charts done, we'll move into some of the Vedic that aligns perfectly with the mansions of the moon and with alchemy. Today, Venus in her own house, Lucifer in cardinal air, the Most High. The sun there as well. The moon, Saturn, and Mercury, well, moon and Mercury are in the house of water, that white eagle, but Saturn is in Sagittarius. Everybody's ideology is fixing to come into check. Those of you who are on mutable signs or fire signs will be most affected by this Saturn transit. Pluto is here, checking the subconscious and your shadow work. especially for those who were born with Pluto in Leo. This fire alchemy is coming to fruition here as Saturn comes in to clean out old ways, the old doctrine that those being bitten by those serpents, and to get that out. He's over Venus and Mercury, ruling all air and earth signs. Over here in Jupiter's house of ideology, that expansive, fiery, and he's come here to tame the fire. And it's a spiritual thing. It's all, even Pluto being here, working in the subconscious, things we aren't aware of. We still have a lot of actions that we have in our personalities that are based on that false doctrine, that serpent that bit us in those churches and in the book because we were told to lie. And we still judge people, and we look at things a certain way, and we have our traditions. Saturn's here to clean all of that out. Pluto's here to make sure that it's cleaned right out of the subconscious. Those things, our own shadow work. You're going to deal with it now. The time is now. Jupiter finally in Libra, bringing benevolence to the scene. When Venus conjuncted Jupiter, that's truth coming out. That's what that's about. But Mars is over here all by his lonesome, left in mutable Earth, still having a little tantrum, but now everybody's gone and he's all by himself. So that's our emotions. We're having to deal with them all on our own, as in the change of mutable Earth. Mercury and the Moon, and everybody's fixing to come over here and meet Saturn and Pluto in this Sagittarius. So your personality's going to be called into check. Your communications, your commerce, and your travels, your heart, your ideologies when Jupiter finally meets up over there. And Jupiter's going to meet with Mars over there before he joins Saturn in the house of Saturn in 2020 for that next big Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. That's the savior of the world, the Leonardo da Vinci's painting depicting that meeting of Saturn and Jupiter. But the way that one's depicted, it's done over here in Aquarius, or right between the two ages of Jupiter and Saturn. Kind of like a Dagon figure. The colors are red and white. This right here marks the winter solstice. The sun sits right here right now on 12/21, and the colors are yellow and white. So when you talk about Santa Claus coming from the North Pole, that ain't true. The red and white over here is the white water and the red sky. Anytime you see red sky, it's talking about the air signs, because that's their color. She's the woman in red here, and because it was hiding the wisdom of the heavens. All right, I think I pretty much knocked that one out, so we don't have to deal with understanding that he was literally telling the people they were, if you want to say they were worshiping something, they were worshiping Lucifer. That's what they looked up to be healed, was the wisdom of the heavens. All being symbolic. But if you're being sucked in by some Christian doctrine or some religious doctrine or dogma, all you have to do is look up to the wisdom of the heavens, this hidden knowledge, and live. I've got all of the donation charts done but two. waiting on that information. If you haven't got your chart and you gave a donation, please speak up now. I'm ready to kick into the free ones. I'd like to get them done as soon as possible, and there's quite a few of them. There are several videos I've made that you haven't watched them yet. So if you didn't get the link, if for some reason you don't got your chart and you made a donation, you need to contact me. I have at least 10, about 8 to 10 videos that have not been, you haven't seen them yet. There are no views. And thank you for your donations. They are much needed at this time. I cannot stress that enough. And I know times are hard. It's holiday season. It's moving towards winter. This is always the crunch time of the year. Commit that random act of kindness every single day. Look up. Get your cross. Follow Balaam. Learn this wisdom of the heavens and live. It's like a new beginning, being freed from the bondage of doctrine and false dogma and false doctrine.